Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is September the 9th, 2022. I'm Carol Ray in Central Texas, and this is Asia Pacific version of the Global Healing Call as part of the Community for Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. And we have in the house Dr. Clint G. Rogers, author of said book. Yay! Fresh off of Silence, Solitude, and Stillness. How are you doing, Dr. Clint?
I feel so good to be here. And yeah, I've taken the last month and a little bit to be totally off of phone and computer and just be present and man, I'm so excited about what's coming. And I'm so excited about being now with you, really to celebrate when I'm here in this Asia Pacific call. First of all, seeing all of your faces. I love Dipika that you're here, and Robin and Luke and Roland. I love that you're here, and Sharmini, Sue. I'm so glad you're here. Aparna, you're so much in my heart, and Cornelia. It's very exciting, very fun to see your faces, and just spontaneous joy comes. And when I think about the opening quote in the book, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you. Love will teach you, and love will guide you. Celebrating the 3-year anniversary of this call is celebrating really an impulse of love that came from Carol Ray. At the time when we were starting on the Miracle Experiment game, she realized that there's a lot of people in the world where 8 a.m. Pacific time isn't going to work, you know? And even without even talking to me, just through her love, she created this group that just served a purpose of just facilitating the channeling of the ancient secrets for people in a live experience in a small, intimate group in a way that they could get it at a time when they would normally be awake. And for that, I just want to just rejoice and celebrate. It's hard for anything to last 3 years.
Yeah.
But the fact that this has, and then also this is something I'm going to open up on Sunday, but here I just received the book in Turkish, translated in Turkish. In a very short time, the book is going to be completed in Japanese within the next month. We're in the final stages, the final proofing, and Russian is in the final stages. And so this Asia Pacific group will serve more and more of a purpose as more people read those beautiful words and then need a little bit more connection, some community in which they want to make mung soup for the first time. I still remember, Luke, when you made mung soup for the first time, how exciting that was. And now how many other people have had mung soup and their life has changed because of you, you know? And Dipika, man, I love being in your presence. When I think about my time off of phone and internet, off of computer, I just think of you, how you do that so effortlessly and naturally, presence, and in such a graceful, powerful way. So if anything, I'm just hopefully a little bit closer to the vibration you naturally hold all the time. and then there's, man, the people who show up on this call, man, I love you. I love you so much. I'm with you. I'm excited about what you have done. I'm excited about what is coming. I'm excited about just this moment. And I'll be with you for about 20 minutes here, and then I have to step off. But I just wanted to just celebrate with you this exciting moment in which, for sure, you're being guided by love. The impulse of this meeting was love, and the whole experience of it for the last 3 years has been purely love. And so it's just really enjoyable to be in this space.
Well, thank you so much for that. I also have a note from our beloved Sanja-san, and from Japan, who's now in Italy. And she writes this: "Dear wonderful everyone in the Asia Pacific group, congratulations for the 3 years of achievement. It is amazing that all of you, each of you, have continued bringing connection and keeping up the regular meetings for 3 years, which is a long time. I had the fortune of being your guest for a few times, and each time I remember that I was welcomed by warm hearts and had a good experience. Thank you for that. Now, I wish all of you this new starting year for the group be filled with many wonderful meetings and sharing and lots of inspiration. Thank you, Sandhya." One of the reasons this is so near and dear to my heart is I lived in Okinawa for 2 years off the coast of Japan. And I was very well aware of how you're always off, with what's happening in the States. And my son had worked in New Zealand. And and my daughter was also stationed in Japan when she was in the Navy. So near and dear to my heart, Asia Pacific. And I just know how wonderful it is to have an opportunity to connect. And Charmony, I'm so happy to see you back from your travels. That's so wonderful. Welcome, welcome back. And Sue, you're brand new to the group. You found us. We're so glad that you're here. Dipika, did you have something you'd like to say?
Hello, everybody. I'm so delighted to be on this call with you today, and just to echo what has already been shared, it really is inspirational, and it is quite extraordinary that you have come together from this impulse, this stunning impulse of love, to meet together as an Asian Pacific group for 3 years. It's what an incredible rhythm and pattern and quality you have established in your own being, and I just have this image of the ripple effect of that as that comes out into the world, into humanity. So I feel really humbled to be sitting with you in this moment. Thank you. Yeah.
Sue, you are in Australia, is that right?
Yes, I'm in Australia. I'm on the southeast coast of Australia, down on the Great Ocean Road in Victoria.
And we have someone new with us who's also from Australia, Miss Sue Wellwood. Say hello, Sue. You can unmute yourself. Hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. I've just finished reading this morning, finished reading the book. I've just got it here still. I've just put it down, and I went and saw the time, and it was 10 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's join in. So perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. And how did you come by the book?
I was gifted it by my cousin when I went up to Cairns not so long ago. So I've just been reading it ever since then. And yeah, making the mung soup as well. So it's, yeah, I've got some on the stove now cooking. So it's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And what part of Australia are you in?
I'm in Victoria.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Sue. So fun. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The world just gets smaller all the time, Dr. Clint.
Yeah, in a very good way.
In a very good way. And Charmony, are you visiting in Australia or are you back home now?
I'm back home after my travels in India. Yes.
Did I see you're coming to Australia soon?
Yes, I will be coming to Australia this month, actually, towards the end, because I'm going to Adelaide, then I'm going to Brisbane, and I'll be going to Melbourne too. To
That's
catch up
awesome.
with Dipika. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I heard you might try to hook up with Kabir and a couple others too.
Yeah, it's because Australia is big. We think it's not, but it is. Travels, it's about an hour away from here to there, and I have to see.
So thank you for sharing your Indian journey with us. It was beautiful seeing you by the Ganges River and the ceremony for your mom, and it was just so beautiful. I just felt like we were definitely with you there in spirit. We were there holding you in our hearts, and
Yeah,
so happy that you had.
that was the best. The Mother Ganges has a quality, which is she just takes you into her arms and renders you into a state of meditative place where you feel relaxed, no attachments, nothing. It's just wonderful. So that trip to Rishikesh was beautiful. Yes.
How long had
Uh,
it been since you were in India?
Uh, if excluding the Mumbai trip, it will be about 8 years.
And that it had what did you see that's changed the most for you?
Oh, progress, better roads, a lot of hotels. Yes, but India is still the same. The spiritualities will never leave. So it's part and parcel of people who live there. So, and people who come there too, because they come for the same reason. Yeah. So we went to Varanasi too, but that was more to visit all the important temples in Varanasi, like the Kashi Vishwanath, the Kala Bhairava, Annapurni, the goddess mother of food and harvest and everything. So yeah,
And you've
receive
come
their
back to
blessings too.
a new home?
No, I didn't come back to a new home. My cat came back to a new home.
Oh, your cat came back to the new home. Mama cat.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you're in Singapore or you're in
Yeah,
Malaysia?
I'm in Singapore. This is my home. So
Okay.
it's just that after my cat spending 1 month in quarantine,
Oh, I got it. Since your
he's
move,
back
she was
home with us. Yeah.
beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for you to be back at home and from your travels, and you have a great trip planned, and you'll have to keep us
Yeah.
posted on that too. So
Yeah.
it's great to see you again. Let's see what is next. I was going to share a little DT Debabawa with you, and then we'll do some marmas and things here in a little bit. But when I did my first miracle experience experiment, it was April 2020, and Dr. Clint was teaching us about Aditi Debabawa. And the day before, I had been outside my barn with a broom, screaming at some black vultures because my dog barked at them constantly. And I was trying to shoo them away, go away. They're nasty. They smell bad. They make messes. But after Aditi Debabawa, I thought, I have to change. And I started sending peace and light and love to those big birds. And I stopped doing anything but being kind to them. And I opened my heart and I said, forgive me for being so hostile. You are a creature of God, and so am I. And as I was walking, two of them flew beside me, and I saw them on an old abandoned building next to my farm, and they were pulling shingles off a roof. I later discovered that they had a third bird stuck inside this old building. So I put on some boots and long sleeves, and I went in, and I don't trespass as a rule, but I for the first time 14 years, I went in that building and left the door open and a window open so that bird could escape. And then the very next day, I saw one of the three birds scoop down in my yard and pick up a rat. And I saw a couple of days later one pick up a snake. And the best thing of all, the squirrels moved out of the attic of my barn, and they had been chewing through the soffit, and they were one of them actually came into my bedroom and was on the door of my bedroom, the squirrel, yakking at me. So because the vultures moved over to the barn where I live, the squirrels have left, and that was like a huge blessing. So in July, I happened to my sister and I were just leaving for Idaho, and we came out and we saw this little yellow, looked like a fuzzy chicken, and it was a baby vulture in my carport, and it stayed there for several months, and it finally got its wings. And then on a daily basis, this baby vulture, who's now got his black wings except from little yellow hair, visits me every day, and I started singing to it from the first day I saw it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And now when I sing that vulture, wherever it is, will turn around and look at me. So this morning was the fourth morning in a row they've been on my balcony, and I just wanted to play this little clip for you of how comfortable they are in my life. And are Are you, whoops, what happened? Oh. Here we go. Let's see if that works. Did not work, did it? Did it work? No?
Yeah, we can see it. It's just not playing yet, but we can see
Oh,
it.
okay. All right. There we go. My dog is, I'm having to keep him away because they are literally just 6 feet from the back door. And as you watch, you just saw a swallow come right by them. Now, this guy's shaking his tail feathers and making himself puffed up, and the other one's going to fly to the top of the roof where it's safe. I believe this is the little male that was in my carport for 2 months now, and you can still see a little bit of yellow in right on the top of his head. And look how he puffs himself out there to show the swallow that he's fierce and mighty. I just think that's such a cool thing to have in my life, that these creatures that I was so ugly against, I was so rude to them, and now they check on me every day. Just as I was walking over here for this meeting, they're up on the top of my barn keeping watch over things, and they're just so much a part of my life now. I can't imagine not seeing them every day. And he has a little parting comment. He kind of looks around and says, okay, I think it's safe now. And I think he kind of taunts him a little bit. Well, he's just gonna kind of go, ha, take that. Doesn't he look proud of himself? Ha! Okay. Oh, I just thought that was fun to share.
Yeah, that is so fun.
Oh, I thought it was fun.
It's really fun, especially when you have an aversion to any part of life. And it's so symbolic that if so for Sue, I don't know if you remember that quote in the book called Atiti Devo Bhava. So to treat the unexpected guest as if God himself or herself has come. So when people play the 30-day miracle experiment game or other things, we exercise, we try that. And when some unexpected guest comes, we try and treat as if God himself or herself is coming. In this particular case, it was vultures at Carol's house. And through that, Carol, what do you notice about your own heart and your own life, like through
it's made me a kinder, softer person because I don't need to control as much, I can just go with the flow and look to see what's coming. And I was a project manager, and I like timeliness and structure and organization, but so much of life is just messy. But instead of kind of puffing up against, oh, that's not what I planned, I just stop and look at it to see what's the gift in this. And I think it's a much easier way to live, and to have atmiyata, to have that skill of saying, I'm sorry you don't like me. I'm sorry that, you're spewing all of that animosity towards me, but I'm just going to send you love. That's it. That's all you get from me. I'm just sending you love. So those two key concepts in your book have made my life so much better. And I'm so grateful for those lessons.
I can see it in you too. Knowing you for this time, man, even I was just on a conversation with Jana, and she was just talking about just how it grows all of us. But in particular, we were talking about you, and I mean, even the fact how you're guided by so much love, so much grace, how much has happened in the last 3 years, also so many ups and so many downs. Any of them could have leveled someone's mentally, physically, emotionally with your family, but you just have shown up, and then in the process, just more and more in a space of beingness that just love, and you just radiate it. It's so cool.
Thanks. I'm sorry it took me 70 years to figure all this out, but I'm really glad that the last couple of years, it's been much easier. But I had another nature little catastrophe on Monday. We had a really bad storm, and my tree that got struck by lightning last year that totaled my car and took away my hearing for a few months, damaged this tree. It's a 100-year-old pecan tree, and it was a massive, massive mess. It fell between 2 cars. It fell over a table and 4 chairs. It fell around my fossils and my meditating cat that's in that garden area. Not one thing broke but the tree.
Mm.
It was incredible. This is $1,600 worth of damage to the tree, mind you. This is a lot of tree. Not one thing was broken. So I'm still terrified of lightning. I'm working on that. But I'm just I'm so happy for the lessons that we all learn, and what a great community you've built, Dr. Clint. It's just, there's nothing like it. There's no currency, there's no organizational plan, there's no membership fees. We have just paid the currency of love, and I'm so excited for you to see what's coming.
Yeah, me too. And you know, Sue, I want to make sure we get your email address so we can give you a welcome email and tell you about some of the things that are coming. For anyone who's on this call, we're starting the next Miracle Experiment game, Miracle Experiment Experience, starting on September 25th. And it is going to be awesome. Not only applying these principles, the same 3 principles, which there was another Sue who said that there's life before the Miracle Experiment Experience and there's life after, but it's not the same. And when you start to just apply it, she said I mean, people have financial miracles, health miracles, relationship miracles, but she said the greatest miracle is just her own state of being, like just feeling more in peace inside of herself, you know? But this particular Miracle Experiment Experience, we're focusing on abundance. Some of the ancient secrets that I'm taught, not just about health, healing, this kind of stuff, but about how to be in a space of non-toxic abundance, where you can discover what you want, achieve what you want, and enjoy it in a way that is just really powerful. And I don't know, maybe never been more excited about anything. So just before I have to step off the call, I just want to say that you're definitely welcome. And Sue, make sure we get your email so we can give you a welcome email, and just make sure that you know that you're welcome to any of it, you know.
Thank you.
As it lights up your heart.
Yeah. I have signed up on the website a little bit. I haven't explored that. I'll do that today more. But yeah, really looking forward to what comes from now for me, and yeah, just feeling grateful, I think, now just to meet everybody, especially you, Clint, after reading your book. It's just amazing that you're here.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Mm.
And maybe it'd be fun. I don't know, Carol, what you have planned, but just be fun for everyone to share a little bit about some of their stories or miracles that have been happening. I know you have a plan, so as per is in your heart. But Sue, you're in, I don't know what good thing you've been doing in your life, but you're right now in the space of some of my favorite people on the planet, and some of the most dynamic, powerful, heart-centered people. And so I'm just excited for you to get to know them as well. And I just want to say one more time, Carol, thank you. Thank you for being guided by love. Sharmini, thank you for being guided by love. She's in charge of our powerful story angels that capture all the stories and make sure that we able to continue to inspire. Dipika, trained by Dr. Naram. Dipika did, if I didn't put your name in the book, it was my big mistake. But towards the end of the book, I listed a lot of Dr. Naram's students. And Dipika has been someone who, oh yeah, fantastic. She's here. Good. Page 272. Good. I just wanted to make sure that she's acknowledged as someone who actually knew Dr. Ram before me, wrote a fantastic book about Ayurveda for women. Just has so much depth of experience, and she's there in Australia with you.
Yes,
so,
yes. Brought Dr. Naram to Australia we began clinics with Dr. Naram in Australia in 2001.
Wow. It's so cool.
And then New Zealand.
Both of them. And Aparna, she hasn't missed a single Sunday miracle call, except for maybe one when somehow it just got missed. But she is the
record is not good.
What? Oh, the record's not as good. Okay, no, that's okay. You're in my heart. Still, and such a powerful, both her and her husband, amazing. Robin Lee, Cornelia, really before anyone else on this call had been supporting and helping with the book. She volunteered to edit it. She must have been read it I don't know, maybe more times than anyone else except for me. And she's in the final stages of finishing. She's on chapter 14 in German of the proofreading, where her and another woman that Carol Ray miraculously met in Texas are reading it in German, making sure it sounds so good and goes deep in the heart, and so fun. Luke, who's, man, just such an amazing pillar of strength, possibility, inspiration, and then Roland. I am so happy to know that you're in LA, and I can't wait to meet you in person sometime too.
Yeah, same here. Same here, doctor.
Yeah, I'll be having a clinic in LA soon, actually, not too long. So make sure that we connect. I love you
Okay.
guys. So proud of you and so excited for you to continue to connect more with each other. And I want to join you more and more on these calls.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Clanton. Such an honor to have you here today, and so happy to have you back.
Dr. Clint, before you leave, somebody just put in the chat, how is Roma Rishi doing, which is very interesting. I was on the European call this morning and I talked about them. Please, let's keep sending them our love and our healing, because he goes to the ER at least once a month now. And he was there just a few days ago in agony because of this catheter that keeps producing urinary tract infections. His bladder, and they moved from Mount Shasta to Gold Beach, Oregon, which is a gorgeous area, but the medical facilities are not that close. So he found a urologist, which is 3 hours away. So they're trying to make an appointment, and they'll be doing a 3-hour drive each way to see a urologist, because that's the next step. You can't keep going to the ER once or twice a month because the catheter fails and he's got to get a new one put in. He needs to take care of this. He's taking a number of Ayush Shakti herbs for prostate, but that takes time. So he's dealing with this and he needs to do something right now. And this is wearing and tearing on Tara as well emotionally.
Yeah.
So I talk with him pretty much every day, and he described to me what he was going through just the other day. And so if we could send our love and our healing to them, because they really need it, and also to inwardly help them get an appointment with a urologist this week so he could start to take steps towards healing. Because this cycle of going to the ER and having a urinary tract infection and getting the catheter replaced and taking antibiotics, and then it gets better and then all starts all over again. It's not a way to live. It's not a good quality of life. So
yeah, thank you, Luke, for that love. I sent a message to him 2 days ago, to him and Dr. Stephen and Dr. Ronak, and we have a meeting between the 4 of us, and also obviously Tara's welcome, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, in which we're focusing all our love, effort, best intelligence, heart, all the ancient secrets, and just looking at, okay, here's where we're at, and how do we adjust based on the pulse and based on what's happening. And so in addition to sending love, we have many things in place and movement and action.
So it sounds like you're up on what's happening. I'm really glad about that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Dipika, I was wondering if you would like to share your story of how you got involved with Dr. Naram's organization and how you were drawn to that. I think it's such a beautiful story.
Sure. So a condensed, super fast story will be that after a sudden and traumatic event in my life, where my boyfriend at the time, we were living overseas, and he died suddenly, and I was incredibly wounded, and it manifested in lots of health challenges. And I found myself, fast forward 12 months later, practicing and living in an ashram, in an international yoga ashram community in Maharashtra, Ganesh Puri, 90 minutes north of Ayush Shakti's Malad clinic. And one of my roommates, my dormitory mates, excuse me, our dog's barking. My roommate suggested I see this master healer, a master pulse reader called Dr. Pankaj Naram. I didn't really know what Ayurveda was, and I went and I met with Dr. Naram, and I don't remember a lot of what he said to me because I was completely absorbed and overcome with, I could feel my heart opening. I knew that I was healing in the ways that were necessary and needed, and that I had met my teacher, and that I was going to be learning with him. It was a real grasshopper moment. My friend who was with me was disappointed because she wanted him to say to her what he'd said to me when he read my pulse. Because he was very excited that I was a naturopath already, a naturopathic doctor, because it was a healer's pulse, and there was more work for us to be doing together. So essentially, fast forward, 8 months later, I began an apprenticeship. I began training extensively with Dr. Pankaj Naram, which went on for many years. And it was just extraordinary. It changed the entire trajectory of my life. I soon came to understand what Ayurveda was. Of course. In the early 2000s, I then set up a distributorship of Ayashakti herbs to be available for Australia in New Zealand. It was not possible. It was too prohibitive to do it in Australia at the time because of our government regulations. So we set up a distributorship facility in New Zealand and brought Dr. Naram to Australia, where we had our first clinic in Melbourne, and then Sydney, and then Brisbane, Queenstown, New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, and it was an incredible relationship that I still am his student. I still learn from him. I have obviously learnt to receive his teachings in different ways now, but they are more subtle, more refined ways that have matured and grown me to be open to the essence of the teachings of the Sid Vedas in ways that that I'm only ready for now. So it's been an incredible privilege and incredible destiny to have learnt with him and to have had so much time in his physical presence. You know, at the time I was in his physical presence, you know, sometimes from 10 a.m. until 4 a.m. And I was probably just really agitated because I needed to eat or take a bathroom break. I probably didn't always fully realize the incredible gifts and grace that were being bestowed upon me. But here we are. It was it's just been extraordinary because the teachings continue to unfurl. The teachings, as we grow, as we deepen, as we open, that which we thought we knew and understood suddenly reveals even more, even more, even more. And I tell you what, it's just been the great, it doesn't matter who I've encountered and what I have learnt over the decades, when I'm in the company of truth and incredible teachings, as I'm presented with it, simultaneously, I have this, oh, that's what Dr. Pankaj Naram taught me. Oh, that's what Dr. Naram was saying. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. And you know, there's always these correlations. Always. It's extraordinary, extraordinary, and it all comes back to the now. All comes back to the now, to the love in the now, to the highest healing presence, to that moment where there's only love that does teach us, because there's actually nothing to heal. It's fully healed. Nothing else exists. Nothing else. Past, it doesn't exist. Future's not come. And here we are, still having the incredible grace to be to be living these teachings. To be students of these incredible, incredible gifts, to become more fully human, to heal humanity just by being in the now. And the tools that we're given are so simple. We make them complicated. Our resistance makes them complicated. The tools themselves, they're just so simple. They're doable. They're accessible. The only thing in the way is the disturbance of our own mind, you know?
So true.
Yeah.
Resistance creates persistence.
Oh, doesn't it? Doesn't it? But you know, Dr. Pankaj Naram was, he had the greatest presence, because he lived in that most powerful state of innocence. And so that enabled him to really be the miraculous. That enabled him to really live and practice and teach and share the profound teaching that, you know, to know what we want, to create what we want, to be able to enjoy what we create. He was able to realize that and teach us how to do that, because he was established in his innocence, and it was just that wonder, that curiosity and wonder of not having to know how things were, being curious and able to make it up. Just amazing. Yeah. So it was incredible to learn with such a being. And of course, you know, and initially I, in the first years, I would just be so focused on learning the pulse. And honestly, that was a very small part of what I was learning. So he really opened me up and taught me how to really observe myself, how to really experience myself, to become more masterful of my own inner world, and to be able to really then observe in right relationship with others.
So that's one of Master Jivaka's teachings too, is that observation, and to observe not only ourselves and our emotions, but to really pay attention to detail. And I see that as a real key in Siddha Veda, is that micro vision of noticing that dry skin, or that brittle hair, or the things that give us that insight to the dosha or to the balance of the dhatus, and all of it requires attention to detail. And I think that's something that we can all do better at, we can all learn more about. But I see that in you. I watch, when you're interacting with people, how you're spot on. Your attention and focus is in the now, and that's such a gift, and something I think we can all work on improving, is being present.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. There's all of these really subtle signs that we're observing in people, and then it's extended. Because we're constantly, whether we're consciously aware of it or not, we're just scanning. we're scanning, we're scanning. And so Dr. Naram was showing us how to scan, you know, from the gross to the subtle. And from the subtle to the gross, and so then, you know, he was scanning not only the patient or the person that he was working with, of course, but he was scanning everyone around them, and it was all information, it was all resonance, it was all consciousness that was giving him a picture, a story. And this is all going on, you know, and this is one of his gifts, one of his cities, and we all have these. We all have these. And this is what the Sid Vedas give us the tools to become congruent and aligned, so that we can start to awaken these in ourselves. What is it? What is mine? Mine is different to yours. Yours is different to yours, but we all have them for purpose. And so his was highly attuned, and he was able to just do all this in a nanosecond and just have this full, complete picture to be able to then support a healing solution to be possible.
Love that. You hear people who saw him and say, it's like he could read my soul.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He could. He could. Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is that everybody possesses these gifts. They may be experienced differently. But the point is that we all have these gifts. These incredible gifts. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you if you would share another one of your incredible gifts and lead us in a mantra of your choosing.
Well, I think you've already done it. To be honest, Carol, when you said before, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, it was beautiful. It's such a stunning mantra, and of course, it's to the indwelling Shining One. And there's times in life where it's difficult sometimes to experience that Shining One in ourselves. And sometimes it's difficult to, when somebody we love, somebody we may know dearly, is having difficulty accessing that Shining One in themselves. Or we may have, like with the vultures initially, we may have difficulty recognizing it in other. And so, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is bowing, is offering your salutations and bowing to that indwelling, shining Lord in you. So so that would be beautiful. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We can chant that.
That would be great. So we'll stay on mute while, if you will lead us in that.
Okay, so it's I'll just type it into the chat first.
Is there a practice order that you do for mantras versus mantra versus meditation? Is there a order that works better than others, or is it the individual?
I find, for me personally, I find that to if I do mantra or sound meditation of any kind, I drop more effortlessly into meditation, because the mantra is working on the disturbances of the mind in any case, and we drop into the qualities, because mantra is, mantra is qualities, and we're talking about resonance here. We're talking about sattvic guna. That's all mantra is. We can identify it with certain deities and gods, but we don't need to. We simply don't need to. We simply bring it back to the resonance of the syllables, the qualities of the syllables. And so it's very conducive to drop one into an effortless state of being. And my understanding is that meditation, and Maharishi used to say, a lot of people say, oh, surrender, and people find it difficult to surrender or identify with it as defeat. If I surrender, I've been defeated, or, there's lots of connotation around it. And Maharishi used to say that meditation, he didn't use the word surrender, he said meditation ought to be effortless, that when there's effort, we're not present. And so I find myself that in doing mantra before meditation, then or during using mantra with meditation, the meditative experience becomes more effortless. But I also think that, and the invitation is there to play with it, and it's whatever works for you, and whatever you are already doing. If it feels good, keep doing it. If it feels great, keep doing it. If it doesn't feel so great, then play around with it and try to do it differently. Yeah.
Also, mantra creates literally a vibration that resonates with and penetrates every cell in our body. So
Right.
it helps so much, even on the physical level and the subtle levels. And I agree that mantra is a great way to start meditation, as is pranayama.
Yes, absolutely. I agree completely. Yeah, so really mantra is, there's never any difference between you and the mantra. You are the mantra. You are the qualities of the mantra, whatever that is. So choose your mantras wisely. Choose mantras that are uplifting and of a higher resonance. So if you think about thoughts, even, some thoughts can be like mantras, and they're a lower, denser frequency. So would you like me to lead us into a little, okay. So if it's safe to do so, I invite you to close your eyes. And just feeling into this precious sacred body instrument that's housing you in this moment. Housing your mind in all its brilliance, your heart with all its rhythm and all its feelings and all its whispers, all its longing. Housing all your systems and organs that allow you to grow, love, serve, and housing your spirit. And just noticing any thoughts, any feelings, any physical sensations that you may be having now. Just notice them. This is not judging, criticizing, analyzing. It's simply an invitation to notice. You may like to allow your awareness to drop down into your heart space. Well, this is the space of your original innocence. The wonder, to be with the mystery and the magic, to not have to know how things are, to be free to make anything up as you would love it to be. Bringing your awareness to your breath. With each inhalation, you're taking the outer world into your inner environment. With each exhalation, you're breathing your inner world back out into that beyond you. And just noticing the original breath as it moves through you. We're going to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And I'm going to sing it in a little melody, and you're invited to join in as it feels comfortable. And if it doesn't feel comfortable or familiar, that's fine. I invite you to just hum along. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 We'll just sit quietly for a few moments to just feel the reverberation of your sound dancing in your being. Light compresses and forms into sound. There are so many tones, variations, microtones, all composed in the sounds of your being. And then there is the nada, the inner sound. And as you attune to yourself, you begin to hear the inner sound, the sound of the divine. Thank you.
That was heaven on earth. Thank you so very much for that.
You are so welcome. This has all been very spontaneous and unexpected and a delight to
Yeah. Just let it take its own course. I find that usually works out pretty well, much better
Yeah.
than it's planned and rehearsed and whatever.
Yeah.
So,
so this particular mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, this is a mantra that I often work with, and I would often prescribe this mantra to pregnant women. One of its usages is with women in pregnancy, for the great illumined shining soul carried, growing within the womb. And another usage for this particular mantra is in addiction. It's an incredibly beneficial mantra to work with in addiction, and often people experiencing the addiction, depending on the nature of the substance of addiction, may not be willing or able to use it, but you can chant it and invoke the love and offer it up, because this is sound, and we're all ultimately different expressions of the one same divine sound, and so it can be offered up and chanted for those in most need who are struggling to again experience this shining, illumined one dwelling in themselves. Yeah.
Beautiful. And we all have addictions. There's not one of us
Do.
who doesn't have some kind of addiction, and some better than others, but we all have the things that I am addicted to my phone. I'll admit it. It's bad. I'm averaging 8 to 9 hours a day on my phone. Much of it's good work because I'm doing research and I'm doing herbal formulas. I'm doing good stuff on it, but still, that's my addiction. My name is Carol, and I'm addicted to my phone.
Yeah, we isn't it beautiful to be vulnerable and honest and to get real and say, yeah, I'm addicted to this, I'm addicted to that. It's we're all in this human, we're all human, and we all come with challenges and opportunities to overcome.
We do indeed. Well, I can't thank you enough. This has been so beautiful. And does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Anything they'd like to say as we're wrapping this up? Is there something anyone would like to say?
Big thank you. It's a wonderful. I joined this session after like few months now, but it's amazing. Thank you, Dr. Dipika. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's like a new beginning now. So wherever I stopped last time, doesn't matter. Start again from today. So thank you.
Oh, isn't that great? Isn't every day like that? Every moment's like that.
Yeah, but I'm not that smart to remember that every moment. I need some trigger like these sessions to come back to it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Roland or Sue or Cornelia, are you about to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to what you said at the very beginning, Dr. Deepika, about the observation. And I really feel blessed. Some of you know that I spent some time in Italy with Dr. Giovanni. And so it was really interesting that the first thing he said to me when it was about coming the first patient in, he said, don't analyze, don't think, take the pulse and just observe. Don't try to make sense, just observe. And it was really interesting because they, of course, were speaking Italian, and except of like arrivederci or something like that, or buongiorno, I don't speak any Italian. So for me, it was really, I didn't understand what they were talking about. So I was really in that position to observe. And I cannot tell you how much I learned just from observing. And I think that is really the most important quality that a teacher can share with their students, as the way to get into what they need to learn is the observation. And I felt really so blessed that he pointed it out to me at the very beginning. Don't do anything. And I really did for like the 10 days I was in the clinics. That's the only thing I did, observing. I didn't try to make sense. I didn't ask questions, just observed. And it was an amazing experience. So
It
thank
is
you
so
for bringing that.
wonderful. Yeah, that's just music to my ears. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, because Cornelia, what's also happening is he was gifting you the teaching. Dr. Giovanni was gifting you the teaching of being able to really hone and work very intuitively as well, as opposed to from intellectually thinking and and as you say, analyzing and judging. So he was actually giving you the gift of working with your superconscious, with your higher intelligence, to so that, you know, that's one of the teachings of Dr. Narama, of course, is that you're an instrument, you're in service to God, and you're serving the God in other. And it's kind of like you're being a conduit for it to all flow through. You are opening yourself up to observe, and then you was receiving the divine impulse and instruction and solution.
Yeah, I felt really he gave me that big
great
gift.
way to teach and learn how to practice. And then yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
When you just said that again, it just kind of came so back to me when you said that this is really where we all should go when we learn something new, is really just observe and then let the universe impart what it has to tell us.
Yeah.
So thank you for your gift tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And you know what incredible experiences you are having.
I would also like to add that when I was in Ayushakti in March, because I sat down with some of the doctors, I never understood Hindi, so they were going on in the language. It took me a while. It's just that because nobody told me about observation, but then I suddenly said to myself, just observe. And once you start observing, you somehow, from their facial expressions, their language, whatever it is, you suddenly understand what they're trying to say. And somehow it just, you are able to just discuss with the doctor, is this what the problem was? Because just by observation as well, it's incredible. I think we force ourselves to just observe, a lot of things comes up wonderfully. It just presents itself.
Yeah,
I agree with you, Cornelia. That's also a amazing thing.
So true, so true. And the thing is, this isn't only as practitioners. This is as human beings relating with other human beings. You know, we are all, if we think beyond the prescribed remedy to the healing gesture, to that of its, you know, resonant therapeutic substance, then when we are fully present with other in life, where we are observing, we're observing, and
in the spirit of noticing and observing and relating from one human being to another, I want to take notice. And Cornelia, I've noticed and observed, I haven't seen you since before your travels, and you have gone through changes. I can see you have such a lightness of being about you and a joy about you that I have not seen before you left. You have this entire session here, my gaze has been drawn to you because you have such a lightness in you that wasn't there before, and it's such a glow and a smile. So you definitely on your travels have gone through some amazing changes, and I observe that and I see that, and that's so wonderful that you've gone through that. It's palpable, actually.
Thank you.
Agree. I totally agree. I see a new Cornelia today?
I cannot tell you what it is, but I can tell you what definitely was a big part was, as some of you know, is that I'm really isolated here on a small island, and actually being able to hug people. And we had this big hug festival when we were in the clinics, because it was absolutely amazing, and I was surrounded by so many just feeling people. And then of course I spend time with my children and my grandchildren, and I guess the joy of being around two little children that do nothing but enjoy life and be in life. And it was just so much joy to be with them. And you cannot but smile the whole day when you are around little children. And I guess that was really something that opened my heart in a completely new way. So I'm really glad I took the time out, and I did something that I should have done before. I took quite some time off my phone and the computer as well, and not being distracted by electrical devices, but really only focusing on human beings and nature. Yeah, was a big part of my journey. But thank you, Luke.
Just one more comment on the observe only. I have a fairly high anxiety disorder with my high vata, and I found a mantra many years ago that really did help stop the chatter, especially the negative chatter. And it was stop, observe only. And just that simple phrase to my mind. And then I would, get into what can I see, what can I hear, what can I touch, what can I smell, what can I taste, and really get into my senses in order to get out of my brain noise. But that observe only thing is so powerful in so many things. And if we can add to that observation to be 100% in that space when we're with another person or our dog or the cat or whatever we're doing, I think that is such a powerful thing, such a powerful lesson from Siddha Veda is whatever it is, give it 100% so that you're not fragmented, and you're really focused. It just makes a huge difference.
Mm.
Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone. That's like opened my heart to a new beginning of something that's going to come. Dr. Dipika, I think that's how you pronounce your name. I'm sorry if that's wrong. I'd like to connect with you if that's possible, because you're in Victoria. I'm not sure how. Yeah,
I'll put my email in the chat for you, dear one.
Okay, that would be good. I'm on my phone, so it takes me a little bit to find how to get back there, but I will. That would be great.
Okay, I've popped it into the chat. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Also,
Sue,
Sue, please know that I don't know if you've attended any Sunday global healing meetings yet, but every Sunday morning, well, it's morning for me here on the West Coast of the United States. I don't know what it is in Australia at that time, but I think for you at that point, it's probably Monday.
Oh, it could be Monday, yeah.
It's in the wee hours in the morning.
So anyway, it's 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time in the United States, so you can figure it out. And Dr. Clint will be there tomorrow, and it's our global healing. There's usually about 60 to 100 people, and it's very, very exciting. So just remember, that's this Sunday. And this Sunday is amazingly the 21st anniversary of 9/11 here in the United States. So according to the email, something's going to be mentioned and done in reverence to that. So it should be a very wonderful meeting.
They're all recorded too, so that's another thing that we'll make available. If you can, my email's up here. If you want to send me your email, I'd be happy to put you on that distribution list so you can get those if you'd like. We won't spam you, we promise.
Oh, thank you. No, that's okay. That's good.
Oh, great.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to be doing the Asia Pacific call every other week from here to the end of the year. We may change that at that point, but that gives me a little bit more balance, and it's also frees up Fridays for other groups and that want to use the channel. But I hope that you'll come back in 2 weeks, and we're getting ready, as Dr. Clamp mentioned, to have the new MEE, and we'll probably make that available, this space available for that. So if you'd like to participate in that, to do it in the Asia Pacific time zone, so that you have that opportunity and don't have to set the alarm for 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So hopefully you can keep that in mind. Cornelia, any final thoughts from you?
No, I don't have anything else to say.
Okay.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm not normally a guest on this call, but tonight I just wanted to support you, because it was really such an achievement to have this call so long. And for many, many months, I was actually having my 100-day course right after the Asia Pacific. So I would always kind of log in and be in the background and then listen to it and then have my own call. But tonight it was really important to me to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it very much. Aparna, my sister, so glad to have you back in the space. So happy to have you. And Robin, as always, how was dinner? Was it delicious?
It was delicious. And then, partway through, I'm like, oh, I didn't take a picture. I'm not going to, I've been meaning to. Every time we make it, I intend to take a picture. And because my dad is the person who's putting it all together at the end, and he does that, and then we get it to the table and we start eating. And so one of these days. I appreciate, by the way, I'm going to try this. I'm going to tell a friend who just asked me yesterday if I knew things that would work with people who have addictions. And so I'm going to tell her about this, this mantra in addition to teaching her the marmas for addiction. And she's Native, and she says there are families that are losing up to 2 or 3 people a week from fentanyl laced overdoses and things on the reservations. And they're really targeting the rest because they know that the natives get money from the tribe, and then they will go and spend it on drugs, and it's being quite the issue.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And if there's anything I can do to help with that, it's cause near and dear to my heart. So let me know.
Okay, will do.
What I can to help. Thank you, everyone. And as always, you can unmute and say, I love you and I'm with you. I love me.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
And I'm with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Damien.
Bye-bye.